So a lot of people are asking at the moment, what is it like owning and running a motorcycle dealership with COVID, with the pandemic? And I've probably got one word for you, which is tough. Everything that's going on at the moment is causing us issues. The lockdowns, the fact that people can't come in the showroom, it's all making things difficult. So back at the beginning of the year, we'd actually opened the showroom. It was actually 2019. In sort of October, November, we started trading. Realistically, it was, we probably didn't do that many. It was November, December, so the quiet period. But we thought, right, we've got 2020 ahead of us, our first full year of motorcycle trading, and our first year to try and make some money, to put some back in the bank, to pay off the money that we'd put in to start the business up and to give us a leg up to start with. So January, February, really great months. We were hitting our target, doing what we said we were going to do. The customers were coming in more and more. Everyone was learning that we were there. It was really, really good. It was really strong. March came round, and sort of 2 weeks into March again, you wouldn't have known there was any difference. You wouldn't have known anything had changed, really. People were talking about COVID, they were talking about coronavirus and the effect it was going to have on the economy. And but we'd not really seen any sort of downturn in business. People were talking about it more, but no real specific sort of change to people's buying habits. Then obviously as we approached the end of March, like everyone else, lockdown hit, and we didn't know what to do. We've made plans for closing the business for depending on how long it was going to remain closed. How long could we actually survive? How long could we carry on paying rent, and how much money did we have in the bank? And at the time, it wasn't a great deal. It wasn't enough to keep us going a long time, and it wasn't enough to pay wages for a long period of time. So we were thinking maybe 3 or 4 months we could probably survive and see it through without having any business come in. So halfway through the first lockdown, I think we were coming up to the end of April. A lot more businesses began to find a way to operate, and a lot of that involved click and collect or delivery, or whatever the case is, depending on the industry. And luckily for us, the car trade, which is considerably bigger than the motorbike trade, they were pushing all the right buttons and trying to get their industry back online and back working and back making money. The nice thing we have is that whatever the car trade does, the motorbike trade can follow. We run on the same business model, we work the same way. It's just a different product that we're actually selling. So we knew that if they could get something through and they could make it work, then we could make it work as well. So we started coming in, and we'd been answering the phone to try and take orders and to try and put things in place to make sure that we actually had a business to come back to when this all finished. And then as the car trade started to go back, and they started doing handovers to customers for click and collect, or whether it's delivery, we thought, well, we can start doing some. We did a lot of research, and we read all of the protocol and made sure that we were sticking to the letter of the law. The last thing we wanted to do was have a negative impact on what the government was trying to do. So we started doing a bit more, and we started trading a little bit more, and stuck to delivery only, no customers in the showroom. So that was really difficult to start with. We found it quite easy, but then after a while you realise that actually, although we sell motorcycles, one of the largest things that brings in money into the business was the clothing and accessories and the helmets, and that was something that we couldn't show anybody. We couldn't have them in the showroom to see the range that we had. No one was wanting to try anything on, and we didn't really want anyone to try anything on. It was hard to know how bad the virus was, and also how to protect ourselves, our staff, and the customers that we had as well. We wanted to do as much as we possibly could do, but try and keep our business alive. And after a while, what we found was really the motorcycle sales took off, and I think as everyone found their feet, the sales side became almost normal, with the exception of the fact that we had to do everything was delivery, or 90% of the sales, the motorcycle sales, were delivery. And then again, when we were getting to customers' houses, there was a lot of sort of, once we touched the bike, we would disinfect it, so that then we're not passing anything on to a customer. And in some cases, we would even take the bike out of the van, jump back in ourselves, and allow the customer to come out and give us a thumbs up before we left to say that he was happy. And then we had no contact at all. It worked really well.
Hold on a second. Hey guys, if you're enjoying this video, why not hit the subscribe button and then the bell icon to get notified of the latest videos and exclusive content from our channel.
As things have progressed, we got back into the swing of things when we were allowed to open at the beginning of June, and we could start having customers back in, and slowly things started to happen for us. But realistically, June is sort of the peak of the motorbike trade, and it's the peak of our sales period, so it was all going to be downhill from there on out, from a numbers point of view. So as the year continued, we made the most of the year we had left. And we carried on, and we made quite a lot of sales, and we gained a lot of good customers, and those customers have been back again since, and we keep in touch with them, and they're really happy with the service that we've given them, and are happy that we're still going as a business, which is great for us. And then of course the November lockdown hit, and we were in a bit more of a fortunate position this time of knowing what we could and couldn't do. We knew that we could do delivery. We knew that as an MOT testing station, we could keep that side of it open. We also knew that not to expect any of our clothing accessories to sell, because it never was going to. I think we possibly did 2 pairs of boots the whole time, and they were purely on a mail order basis. So there was no money to be made on that side. So things were still tight and things were still difficult. But as the November lockdown carried on, the business seemed to carry on. We seemed to have quite a strong month. We weren't hitting our target, but it was good. And then December came, lockdown finished. December's always a short month for us here, because we close the business between Christmas and New Year. It's something that we've always wanted to do as a company, and we've always sort of said, you know, it's good for the staff, and a lot of our staff have children and families, and Christmas is a good time to spend with them, and to sort of recharge your batteries, ready for the next year and the next season. So in December, we knew we sort of had maybe 3 weeks to make as much money and as many sales as we possibly could, to try and see us through and make sure that we're in a strong position going into the next year, 2021. Now, at this point, we knew we weren't closing the doors. We knew we were safe as a business, and we knew we would carry on. But then in 2021, we still wanted a showroom full of bikes, and we still wanted to have a good selection for customers to come in and see. And that was quite hard to do as well, because you're trying to buy during a pandemic. You're trying to go out to see customers that might be shielding. So it came with its own challenges as well. And overcoming them became easier and easier as the general public became more and more confident in what they could and couldn't do. The wearing of masks became much more the norm, and I think people were okay with that, and even to the point when we were going out, we were gloves and masks, and usually still are. And I think once that happened, everything sort of smoothed itself out a little bit. We knew that we would be okay. And so December, actually, with the low target that we had, we actually achieved 150% of that target. The target in December is always low. It's usually the worst month of the year, and ever since I've been in the motorcycle trade, it's always been the worst month of the year. But we did another 35% in December that we'd actually done in November. It was really strong, and looking at what else was out there and what other people were reporting, they were all reporting similar figures. So I think when lockdown ended, the business picked up. People wanted to buy a motorbike, people wanted to spend the money, and you can kind of guess as to what that reason was or why people were spending that money. But I think people had the money. People were able to spend the money that they normally would have spent on a holiday, that they normally would have spent on going out for meals, and people found themselves with a little bit more spare cash in the bank, which was a really good thing from the point of view of what the government did, because they allowed people to not feel under pressure or not feel as though they were going to run out of money and they weren't going to have a job and they weren't going to have an income. So people had this abundance of money, and the bikes that we sell tend to range from about £2,000 to £10,000, and that sort of fit in the budget of what people had for this extra money people found themselves with. So we did quite well with it on that side in December. And then at the end of 2020, we actually finished around about 95% of our yearly target. And these targets were set before COVID was even a thing, before it existed as a problem in the UK, and before anyone was ever talking about lockdown. So going into January, we were confident, January 2021, which is where we are now. And we still feel confident now. We opened our doors, I think, for 1 day or 2 days, and we were allowed to have people in the showroom again with masks, and we had gloves and we've got hand sanitizer. But we're in the third lockdown now, and actually it feels okay. The government are supporting everyone that needs supporting. I don't feel as though our industry currently needs that support, and we're able to carry on doing what we're doing. And there's only one member of staff that currently isn't in the showroom and isn't really required. Everyone else is working, and it's busy, and it looks good. It looks good. Hopefully it won't last too long, and hopefully those people that are ill can get better, and hopefully we can beat the virus and continue to work through, and hopefully 2022 will be the year when we say, remember when we had that virus, and it'll all be gone.
Hey guys, if you're enjoying this video, why not hit the subscribe button and then the bell icon to get notified of the latest videos and exclusive content from our channel.